So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. In today's video, we have a blockbuster trade that has gone down, and Pascal Siakam is officially an Indiana Pacer. So I know this trade happened a few days ago, and I'm probably a day or two late on making this video, and for that, I am sorry. But we are here now, and we are ready to go, and I'm very much looking forward to this Pacers rebuild today. So I'm sure many of you guys know what the trade is. Just in case you don't, I'll read it off for you. The Indiana Pacers have acquired all-star forward Pascal Siakam in a trade that sends Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks to the Toronto Raptors. So clearly a blockbuster. We are less than a month away from the NBA trade deadline. I believe it's February 8th. And yeah, kind of get the ball rolling on some of these major shakeups that we might see. As I mentioned, I'll give you more of my thoughts on this deal as a whole once we get into the video. But before we do that, I'm sure many of you guys have video ideas. Make sure to let me know all of them down below in the comment section. Yes, I will be doing the Toronto Raptors side of this probably on Monday. So you don't have to comment that. It's okay. But yeah, man, this has been fun. I do apologize for missing an upload yesterday. Wednesday was actually my birthday, so I didn't record a video Wednesday evening. So there was no video Thursday. My apologies. I went out to dinner with my family. Hopefully you guys understand. But yeah, man, I'm very much looking forward to getting into this video today. I love blockbuster trades. I'm sure many of you guys know this. One of my favorite things about the NBA. Let's get into this rebuild. We've loaded into 2K. We are here at start today, and I'm very, very excited that this is a feature because starting at the beginning of the season would have just sucked. So 24-17 is the record right now, and what I'm going to do right now is kind of go over my thoughts on this deal as a whole. So I explained a lot of kind of my basic thoughts on Twitter. If you don't want to listen to this, just, guess skip ahead in the video. But the 3 first-round picks for a guy who's an expiring contract definitely sounds like a lot. And let me just explain to you kind of what I said on Twitter. So the Indiana first, it's their 2024 first-round pick. Likely probably going to be the best pick out of all of them that the Toronto Raptors get. Likely late teens, maybe mid-20s. The 2026 first-round pick from Indiana, if things go according to plans and 2 years down the line, Indiana's like a true contender. Probably mid to late 20s. Not exactly the greatest pick in the world. Finally, they get the worst of Utah, Houston, Los Angeles Clippers, or Oklahoma City Thunder this year. Meaning that's probably going to be mid to late 20s as well. So 3 picks that all could be in the 20s for a guy who's an all-star caliber player, a championship caliber player, and Pascal Siakam is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Now, this conversation does definitely change. If Pascal Siakam leaves in free agency, does not end up re-signing with the Indiana Pacers, which, I mean, is a possibility. Guy has all the leverage in the world right now, and Toronto somehow hits a home run on 1, 2, even 3 of those draft picks, it's a very, very different conversation. But for Indiana, my take on this, it was a calculated risk that they took. They know that the Pascal Siakam trade is probably not going to put them into the top echelon of contenders in the Eastern Conference this season. This is a long-term play. I know Pascal Siakam is not 22 years old, but he's still a player that can be valuable for a long time. So that's my take on it. For Toronto, I don't expect them to keep Bruce Browning. They'll probably flip him. He's making $22 million this year, so he's not exactly somebody you can just flip with a snap of a finger. But he's somebody who's a really valuable role player, obviously NBA champion with Denver last year. And I do expect there will be a lot of interest. So that's my take on it. Our goal today is to clearly win a championship here with the Pacers. Definitely make sure Pascal Siakam resigns. So kind of just my gut reaction on the deal. I'm sure we'll find out more as things do go on. But I don't really plan on making many major trades. Obviously, past Siakam. The shooting guard spot for me is an interesting one. I mean, clearly Buddy Hield is here. His name was actually in trade rumors as well. I think there was probably some conversations about having him in this package. For Siakam, they ended up going with Bruce Brown, who was in Indiana for about half a season. But the man did get paid. You can't really feel bad for him. But Andrew Nembhard, in all likelihood, will be my backup shooting guard. Maybe more of a traditional point guard than shooting guard, but he's got the size at 6'4". He's only 24 years old, and he has team control. So I think TJ McConnell is playing some very, very good basketball right now. So I think this is probably the way I'm just going to run it. I know we have a couple different power forward options here, and maybe there's even a trade with one of these guys because Siakam clearly going to start. Toppin's been playing well this year. Jalen Smith's a guy who still could get minutes. I don't really know where I would play him, right? I don't know. Because he should be getting minutes. He's good enough to get minutes. Jarace Walker was what, 9th overall pick, 8th overall pick. There's just a complete logjam here at the power forward spot. I'll probably send him down to the G League. Pretty sure James Johnson actually got released in the trade. But I'm good at the center spot as well. So there are some things we definitely have to consider when we go ahead and decide what this rotation to be. There could be one more trade. Maybe there's not. So it's either going to be that move or I'll see you guys at the rotation. So I've decided to make one more trade. Clearly, I'm sure many of you can already put together. This is not a realistic rebuild, but even with that, this isn't the craziest unrealistic trade in the world. I mean, it's not really super realistic, but you understand what I'm saying. I don't know. But we're going to make this deal with Charlotte. Buddy Hield, Jalen Smith, and a 2026 second are going to Charlotte for Terry Rozier and Nick Richards. Now, my thought process on this trade is Terry Rozier has been playing incredible basketball this season. He's an upgrade over Buddy Hield. He's 2 years younger, and he has 2 extra years on his contract. So he's going to come in and be my new starting shooting guard. Jalen Smith's a guy who definitely could be and probably should be in my rotation. Ultimately, he has a player option this offseason. He's going to decline it. I already have a logjam at the power forward position. I went ahead and I capitalized in adding another guy here, Nick Richards, with long-term value. So maybe if this was to be any sort of realistic trade, I'm assuming there'd probably have to be 1 first-round pick in here. Not going to be the case today because clearly unrealistic rebuild. So I have no idea what it's going to mean for the center spot. Maybe Nick Richards now plays over Isaiah Jackson, who is 4 years younger, and maybe a little bit more potential there. But I don't know. We'll see what the CPU wants to do. But Scary Terry is going to come in and be my new starting shooting guard. And Nembhard is going to be the backup. So I am all set there. I'm going to send, I'm going to send Jarris Walker down to the G League. Let's set the rotation. All right, so the rotation is finalized. We are ready to continue, I guess, with year 1 as we're at the halfway point pretty much of the NBA season. In the rotation, there's really no surprises. I know Halliburton's pretty much day-to-day at this point. He's questionable after that scary injury against the Celtics. I was watching the game. I was like, holy shit. Please tell me this is not an actually serious injury, but glad to see he's going to be back soon here in 2K. We don't play with injuries on. He will be playing for us here today. Best player on the team, not going anywhere. Scary Terry, obviously new addition here in Indiana. Maybe some people will be mad I made a trade, but I'm sorry, sue me. Ben Mathurin here at the 3. A lot of potential there. Pascal Siakam, new addition here. Starting power forward and Miles Turner here at the 5. So really not a ton of surprises 1 through 5. I think this rotation makes a lot of sense. I like how everybody fits together. We'll see how it goes. The bench unit is good. I do like it a lot. Aaron Nesmith is playing some really good basketball this season. Dude goes fucking bananas every time he plays my Celtics because they traded him. Oh, good God. Obi Toppin here, having probably, I don't know, is it his best year? I would say. I think it's probably pretty safe to say he's having his best year with Indiana so far. I'm playing Nick Richards over Isaiah Jackson. Maybe it's not the best move in the long run, but if Nick Richards was an expiring contract, I probably play Jackson, but he's locked up under contract for 3 years. He's 1 overall higher, and the CPU wants me to play him, so I'm going to do it. TJ McConnell, really solid backup point guard option, and then Nembhard is going to be my backup shooting guard. So, unfortunately, Jackson's not going to get any minutes. Clearly, I'll clear out that logjam at some point in time this offseason. But this is a good team. We are 7 games over 500, and maybe we can make a little bit of a threat here in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So, I'll see you guys at the end of year 1. 50-32. That's how we wrap up the first season here in Indiana, and 50 wins feels like a really big kind of threshold for us to hit because that's something I typically look for in year 2 for a lot of these teams. But year 1, getting it done here in Indiana, I guess technically if you want to do it like on pace, we were a little bit better in the second half of the season, but the team was also better. I'll take it. Nikola Jokic, that is the 3rd career MVP for the reigning finals MVP. Victor Wembanyama is your rookie of the year. It's probably a 2-man race between him and Chet Holmgren. Russell Westbrook, 6th man of the year. Victor Wembanyama, Depoy's rookie season. Jalen Johnson, most improved. Giannis is your clutch player of the year. Mike Malone, head coach of the Denver Nuggets, is the coach of the year. So, full standings right now. Here in the East, we are the 3 seed. We're going to be facing Milwaukee in round 1, which, if there is a God out there, please let this be an actual playoff series. I mean, to be honest, the Indiana has just owned the Milwaukee Bucks this season. It's pretty much the safest way to kind of say it, but playoff setting, things are a lot different. It would be a very entertaining series, to say the least. Here's a look at the Western Conference. Feel free to pause. All right, let's dive into some numbers on the season. See how everybody played for us. Tyrese Halliburton was our leading scorer. Dude's absolutely incredible. Scary Terry, our number 2 option for the games he played for us here, I guess. Pascal Siakam, Ben Mathurin, Miles Turner, Nesmith. And again, I know some of these numbers are going to be a little bit screwed because clearly, not all these guys were here the entire season, but I'll take it. Rebounds a game was Miles Turner, about 9 boards, and assists, Tyrese Halliburton, 11.5, 12, whatever you want to call it. Hasn't even hit that max contract yet. So, Milwaukee, round 1. This is not a fun matchup for the Bucks. Clearly, the Bucks do have the best player in this series. There's maybe even an argument they have the best 2. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Tyrese Halliburton's playing incredible. Maybe you still take Damian Lillard come playoff time. But fun matchup nonetheless. Can we get by Milwaukee here in round 1? We're currently tied at 1-1. We go down 2-1, down 3-1, and get bounced in 5. Not the way I thought this one was going to go. I thought it would have been a little bit more competitive. Clearly, it was not. It is going to be a Nuggets and a Bucks finals. Oh, man. And the Milwaukee Bucks going to win it all. Giannis, 2nd career finals MVP. Dame finally gets a ring. All right, man. Well, that is it, clearly, for year 1. Now we have a little bit more flexibility with some of the moves we can make here. We have a little bit more, a few more options, I will say. Oh, my God. Look at this. Bulls, Spurs. God damn. Okay. Jazz end up with the number one. Jazz are actually playing some very good basketball. I think they have the best record, actually, out of all teams in the month of January. Rick Carlisle, good head coach. He will be staying here. Did a lot of good things with this team this year, even though we did lose in round one. It was a growing and a development year. So we're not supposed to have this first-round pick. We're also not supposed to have, where the hell is it? We're not supposed to have this pick. I don't know why 2K doesn't update this shit. They put Siakam on the team. I didn't do that. So, yeah, I'm just going to send our pick this year. Actually, this Clippers pick is going to go to Toronto as well. So I'm just going to swap all of those, grab a second-round pick. I'll fix it. All right, so I went ahead and sent the draft picks that Toronto was supposed to have to them. I don't know why. 2K just doesn't update the draft picks. It's very, very strange. But, yeah, no, we were not supposed to have those picks. I also went ahead and sent the 2026 first there as well. So just want to make sure I have everything in order, all my ducks in a row. We do have the 21st overall pick in round 2. Now, what can I get with that? Probably not much. I mean, you know what? Fuck it. Some people get mad when I don't use second-round picks, so I guess I'll try to entertain those people today. Let's just see what we got here. I mean, Dylan Mitchell is here, A.J. Johnson. Yeah, I mean, nobody here is going to be a game changer, right? So, I mean, I know second-round picks have, look at Nikola Jokic. I understand, but I just don't think today is going to be one of those days. But I will draft Dylan Mitchell, see what he has for us here. Another power forward. This is 70 overall. He can be a bench piece for me. Team player options by Mathern, definitely coming back. We look at qualifying offers. So Obi Toppin, which, should he have a qualifying offer? I don't think he should, unless I'm just maybe misconstruing the situation, but I don't think he should. Because maybe he should. Was he traded from New York? I don't know. I'm losing it. My number one priority right now is getting Pascal Siakam back. That kind of goes without being said, and this is going to be a very interesting situation come off-season time, because clearly there was probably a decent amount of interest at Siakam before the trade to the Indiana Pacers. I think the 3 first-round picks kind of says that. That's kind of obvious. I know the Sacramento Kings were in play. There were talks about maybe the Warriors in play. There were tons of Sixers even. There were a lot of teams that probably had some interest. I think Siakam is going to obviously use that kind of fact to his advantage. Probably get a really healthy payday this offseason. But, yeah, $34 million. He has no other offers. God bless 2K. All right, so we re-signed Pascal Siakam. I definitely want to get Obi Toppin back as well. Clearly, he could be a really valuable role piece here for me. He is restricted, so we're going to be able to match kind of whatever offer he gets. But Siakam is back, and at this point in time, kind of just looking over this roster, if we wanted to run it back with this entire team, we probably could. That being said, I think I probably have 1 or 2 trades. Just for a couple reasons. I think ultimately when I look at the depth this team has, clearly we went ahead and added Nick Richards. Maybe Isaiah Jackson's kind of out of the picture now. We also have to be careful with some of the backups. A guy like TJ McConnell is 32. He's going to regress. I might go ahead and move him now. And then maybe there's even an argument to move Scary Terry. Played good basketball for us, but ultimately if we can find an upgrade, I'm going to take it. I really am. So I'm just going to glance. I'm not going to force anything, but if a trade comes up, you guys will see it. I would like to try to add DeJounte Murray to this team. You take a look at the overall, there's clearly a difference. He's 3 years younger than Terry Rozier, and there's definitely a little bit more size there as well. So I like DeJounte Murray quite a bit. Maybe not having the best season of his career, and Scary Terry very well might be having the best season of his career this year. But nonetheless, I'd like to make the addition. He's clearly a higher overall. It definitely helps. I'm sure many of you know that. So I don't have a lot of draft picks I'd be willing to really give up. I think Dylan Mitchell's a guy I know we just drafted, could trade him. Same with kind of Ben Shepherd, who they now can't afford. Holy shit. Okay, so maybe it will have to be draft picks. Again, I'm going to have to be relatively careful with what I can give up here just because I know I don't have exactly a lot of assets. But, I have 2 first-round picks, and they do agree. Okay, so I'm pretty much out of draft picks, which is definitely something I'm a little nervous about. But Murray is an upgrade, both overall-wise and just in terms of player. And I definitely like his defense a lot. So I'm excited to have Murray here. He's going to be our new starting shooting guard. We're good at the small forward spot. I honestly want Jarris Walker to get minutes somewhere. I just don't know where that's going to be because I don't want to just lose Obi Toppin for nothing. I think he's a valuable player, but I think Walker's going to develop well. So maybe we kind of go the sign and trade because I want to play Jarris Walker, right? He was the 8th overall pick. Like, you can't just have the guy sit on the bench forever. So maybe there's an argument to play him and just do a sign and trade with Obi Toppin and include that in a deal with like TJ McConnell because McConnell's going to regress. We all know that. Now, real life, I wouldn't remove McConnell, but I think there's a case for me going ahead and doing this. So Obi Toppin has no offers right now. Is the game going to let me sign him? They're not. So I'm going to have to wait. So I guess I'll wait and then I'll see you guys at the trade. Obi Toppin accepted his qualifying offer, meaning he's just under $10 million in annual value. Now, clearly that means we're done with free agency. I can still make trades, and I actually want to make the trade now because if I sim all the way up to next season, McConnell's overall is going to go down, which actually it might have already done so. That's interesting. As soon as you close out free agency, the progression happens. All right, that's a little bit shitty. So, maybe there's an argument for me to keep Toppin. I'm not going to do it. He's on an expiring contract. I want to play Jarvis Walker. I'm going to do it. So I need a point guard. I need a point guard of some sort. Oh, boy. The options are not exactly elite by any way, shape, or form. D'Angelo Russell could come in here. Honestly, not a bad option. I mean, he's a 79 overall, but there. Ooh, Dennis Schroeder and a first-round draft pick. Now, that's a deal I might probably take. All right, Dennis Schroeder, welcome to the team. Another trade with the Raptors. But we also get a draft pick in that deal. I think it makes a lot of sense for us. Now, can a guy like Ben Shepherd maybe get me a pick? I don't know, but he's not going to play. So, I mean, if there's any way anybody wants to give me a draft pick, I'm definitely going to take it. Like the Clippers would. Atlanta wants to give me a first. Cool. All right, man. I'll see you guys at the start of year 2. It is officially the start of our first full season here in Indiana, and I'm very excited about what this team could be. Last year we won 50 games. Unfortunately, got bounced very quickly in the playoffs, but this is a team that has an identity, and this is a team that I think can be very, very good on both sides of the ball. So Tyrese Haliburton and DeJounte Murray is an elite backcourt. I honestly think they fit pretty well together. I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Mathurin here at the 3. Good to see his overall going up a few. We re-signed Siakam, obviously, and then Miles Turner as our starting center. The bench unit maybe took a little bit of a hit, but Dennis Schroeder is going to be a really valuable 6-man for us. Aaron Nesmith in here still. Very excited to see what he can bring to the table. He got Nembhard developing. Nick Richards remains our backup center. And then I wanted to get Jarvis Walker minutes. That was my goal. I'm sure many of you knew it. And we're doing that. So it's only 10, but I'm not going to play him over guys who are better than him because this is not a year for rebuilding. This isn't a tanking season. We're trying to win basketball games. So let's see what happens, man. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. The 4th career MVP for Nikola Jokic is officially here. And along with that is a record of 60-22 for your Indiana Pacers, which 10 games better than last year. I mean, you can't ask for much better improvement year over year, but I will take it. It's triple-double. God damn. Matas Buzelos, second time I've seen him end up in Philadelphia, and I'm not quite sure. Like, how does Philly have the 9th overall pick? I don't know. What? Okay. Victor Wembanyama is your depoy. Men Thompson, most improved. Tyrese Maxey, clutch player of the year. Rick Carlisle does win coach of the year. So, I mean, I'm assuming that means we have the best record because that's typically what it always means here in 2K, even though that's not always the case in real life. But, yeah, I will definitely take it. Being the 1 seed has its perks, and let's dive into the numbers a little bit. Tyrese Haliburton, Pascal Siakam, DeJounte Murray, Ben Mathurin, Tyrese Haliburton, Miles Turner, Dennis Schroeder off the bench, Aaron Nesmith, Nembhard, Walker, and then Richard. So I like it. Rebounds, going to be Miles Turner, and assists is Haliburton. It's weird. You know, it's not very often I don't have at least one guy that scores 20 points a game, especially when I'm like, it's a really good team, but that's the case today. Here's a look at the Atlanta Hawks that we do have in round 1. Clearly last offseason, we went ahead and added DeJounte Murray from them, and yeah, they're all right. They're not exactly great, but they're okay. And that it. Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that. That's me getting cocky, and yeah. I guess just got nobody to blame but myself, right? I mean, what's going on here, right? I just gave you $34 million a year, and this is what you do for 7 games? What is this? Oh my God. I mean, it's a Pascal Siakam Pacers rebuild. I can't trade him, but like, what the everlasting fuck is this? I don't know. That's a problem. That's not going to cut it for me. How is it? Jesus. Oh my good God. Well, I clearly have to make some decisions because I can't trade Siakam. It's his rebuild. I never do that. I'm not going to start today. But I have to make some decisions about the core surrounding him along with my head coach because I don't really think it's feasible for Rick Carlisle to come back, even though I do think he's a good head coach in real life. But maybe just today's not his day. It's not his video. Oh, good. Give the Lakers the first overall pick. Staff signing. So Rick Carlisle has 2 years left on his deal. He has good ratings, but with Stauffer here, you got Missoula here, you got Kidd, Vaughn, Daignault, Underwood's here. I like Mark Daignault a lot. But I also like Stauffer, and I do like Joe Mazzulla actually has some really good ratings. Maybe call it my Celtics bias, but I might go out and get Joe Mazzulla. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. The man has better ratings, and he doesn't want to come here anyways. Okay, well, hopefully we don't get screwed now. I'm going to make a couple offers out there. So Mark Daignault is gone, which is a little bit unfortunate. I like him quite a bit. I don't really want... You know what? It's just going to be Stauffer, I think. Hopefully, anyways. Okay. I didn't want to get him. I wanted Joe Mazzulla. For whatever reason, Joe didn't accept, so we're going out and we're getting Stauffer. I'm sorry. Okay, it is draft time. We should have our first... Oh, no, I traded it for DeJounte Murray, so I don't. I'm not drafting somebody again in the second round. I'm sorry for all of you who enjoyed me. Seriously, this is it? Fine, I'll draft the guy with the funniest name. Let's see. No. Babacar Sane's an awesome name. MJ Rice, Terrence Archdiacono, AJ Mitchell, Derek Queen. What a fucking name. I don't know. Babacar Sane sounds like a fun name, so we'll draft him. He's out of Senegal. That's pretty cool. Okay. 68 overall. I guess I'll sign him. Now we have some decisions to make with this core. Clearly, we went ahead and added a new head coach because I do think this team is talented enough. We had the best record in the league last year. It's just couldn't get it done in the playoffs. So no real offers for Miles Turner. I'm going to pay him. It's not the problem on this team. Dennis Schroeder is also a free agent, so I have to make sure I can hopefully get him back. I don't want to lose him for nothing. So, I mean, he's 31, but we're going to get him back anyway. So, now comes the decision with the roster, because clearly the team's probably good enough, especially with another year of development, progression, all that fun stuff. But I just don't know. I feel like there's a change I want to make somewhere. I don't think it's in the starting five. I think the entire starting five really kind of fits well together. Maybe it's the bench somewhere. I mean, do I upgrade Nembhard? Maybe even Walker. I know I said I wanted to play Walker, but I don't know. I'll look. I wanted to make some changes, and we are doing just that. We're making another trade with the Charlotte Hornets, this time adding Mark Williams to the team, Nembhard, Jarris Walker, and a 2026 first from Toronto, which I'm not really even sure what we got, is going to be coming here to Indy, or going to Charlotte, excuse me. Williams, Nick Smith Jr., I can't fucking speak today, are coming back here to Indiana. So Mark Williams is just going to be my new backup center. I have a problem with Nick Richards, but overall upgrades tend to do well in the long run for me here, which means we need to find ourselves a new backup power forward and a new backup shooting guard. We look at the options here in free agency. Guy like Quentin Grimes definitely is an option for us, power forwards. Not as many that I love, so you know what? Let me take a flyer here on Quentin Grimes. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he'd fit this team well. So Quentin Grimes, welcome to Indiana. So, I mean, in terms of overalls, like their overalls, the difference between them, there's not a huge difference between Nembhard and Grimes. Ultimately, we wanted to make upgrades, though. We got a really good three-point shooter here in Quentin Grimes. So now I have to find a power forward because, yeah, this is just not going to cut it. So Nick Smith Jr. is clearly going to be in the trade. Maybe Muhammad Guy as well, and then probably Nick Richards. So let's just see. Just curious. If I do Nick Richards, Nick Smith Jr., actually I have draft picks. Let's do this. And I need a power forward. So somebody, please. I mean, they're only making $7 million, which doesn't exactly give me a lot of options, but let's just see. Power forward, $7.5 million. I'm sorry this is taking so long. I had to make some sort of change to the rotation. $7.5 million. Jalen Williams is so fucking good. Tari Eason is a really fun idea. Let's see if can we maybe pull this off. I'll give up Nick Richards as well. I think this would be a really good depth addition. Now, I only do have 2 first-round picks, so maybe it's not really a possibility, but I guess it is. All right, man. Upgrades have been made. Changes have been made, more importantly. I will see you guys at the start of year number 3. Last year, we had the best record in the NBA. We won 60 games just to get bounced in the first round by an 8 seed. We decided that was unacceptable. We fired Rick Carlisle, made a plethora of changes to this roster, and we're ready to run it back here for the 3rd and final regular season in Indiana. So, starting 5, no major changes. Actually, no changes at all. Tyrese Haliburton, DeJounte Murray, Benedict Mathurin, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner. I was hoping Mathurin's overall would bump up a few. I mean, I don't necessarily think he's like a weak link in the starting 5, but I don't know. I was just hoping to go up a few more. The bench has improved. Tari Eason is going to be my new 6th man at an 84 overall. Mark Williams, new addition here, a backup center. Dennis Schroeder, we re-signed. He's going to be the backup point guard. You got Nesmith and Quentin Grimes down here, number 9 and 10. So a lot of depth on this team, and not only depth, quality depth. I'm sure a lot of you know the difference. I talk about it quite a bit. So I'm excited to see what this team can be. I think there's a lot of hope, maybe even 60-plus wins again. I'll see you guys at the end of the 3rd and final regular season. Such a beautiful way to wrap up our 3rd and final regular season. Tyrese Haliburton is your MVP. You truly do love to see it. And as we go 71-11 on the year, which is good, but we've had really good regular seasons so far, and we haven't actually got out of the first round of the playoffs. So a little bit nervous if you don't mind me. Ace Bailey's Rookie of the Year in New York. Men Thompson, 6th man. Victor Wembanyama, is that 3 straight depoys? Jarris Walker, most improved. Look, I'm happy for the guy. He's getting actual minutes now on a team that's, I mean, probably not very good, but still, good for you. Darius Garland, MVP, and Mike Stouffer, Coach of the Year. Well, we had a Coach of the Year last year. How'd that go? I don't really care. Let's just have some playoff success. We were 15 games up on Cleveland, and here is a look at the Western Conference. So, actually, Charlotte's pretty decent. Let's dive into the numbers. Points per game is going to be Tyrese Haliburton, DeJounte Murray, Siakam, Mathurin, Eason. Good. I mean, all fun and games. I mean, we got to fucking win, right? Who do we have round 1? Us in the Miami Heat. Not exactly my favorite first-round matchup because playoff Jimmy is still alive and well. How Jaime Jaquez Jr. is not starting in an 86 overall is beyond me, and we drop game 1. There's no way I can go through an entire video and not get out of the first round of the playoffs, right? There's no way. We're up 3-2. Please win. Thank you. Moving on to the East semis. Feels like a huge victory. Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Isaac Edmondson, Jalen Duren. So clearly going against Siakam's old team here in a playoff round. That is going to be very, very fun. We're tied 1-1 with them. We go down 2-1. Tied up 2-2. We go up 3-2. Game 7. We win. Holy shit. We do have the 6-seeded Wizards here. Markelle Fultz, Bilal Coulibaly, Denny Avdija. There's absolutely no way. I have no idea how this team's here, right? I mean, this is a polar bear in Arlington, Texas situation. There's no reason this team's in the East Finals. Let's prove that to them right now. Thank you. Now we have a really tough test. We have two of the best young point guards in all of basketball, in Tyrese Halliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, going at it here in the NBA Finals. Take a look at this team. A lot of young talent here, clearly. And we just got to go out and win. That's just kind of the name of the game right now. So we go up 2-0, which is nice. Make it 3-0. Please just sweep. Alleviate all my stress and all my worries about what possibly could be in this series. And just, oh my God, we're blowing them out of their own building. Beautiful. This is exactly what I was looking for. We'll get a couple shots up. Not only getting swept out of your own building in the NBA Finals, but having a 50-point deficit in the finals is just kind of crazy. So I'm not mad about it, but because clearly it's not happening to us. It's we're in a good spot. I'm very happy right now. So let's just kind of chat, I guess, a little bit more about the Pacers trade because, I gave a lot of, that's a bad lob on my fault. I gave a lot of my thoughts, but I guess we can dive into it a little bit more. I kind of stand by what I said with the draft pick thing. You look at the history of the drafts over like the past 5, 6, 7 years. Sure, you can find guys in like the mid to late 20s who definitely have value. But there's a lot of the time, I think more often than not, you're going to draft a guy who, you're not really losing sleep over. He's not a guy that's going to really make or break your franchise. So what the fuck? That's really kind of just my take on the situation. So everybody says, 3 first-round picks for a guy who very well could be a rental is a lot. And it definitely is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're wrong. But on top of the fact that Indiana doesn't notoriously draft super well, I mean, clearly they hit a grand slam on the Tyrese Halliburton pick. But, other than that, maybe even Benedict Mathurin, there's not a lot. What the fuck am I doing? There's not a lot of, really guys that you're like, oh, this is a franchise piece for me. So that's just my take on it. I know first-round picks are valuable. I know they're trade assets, all that fun stuff. But, oh my God, Miles Turner have 0 points and 14 rebounds. But if you want to swing for the fences, you want to get a guy who is a proven NBA champion in Pascal Siakam, you're going to have to give up something, especially when there's interest level is at as high as it probably was. So I don't really fault Indiana for doing this. I think the one negative is that I touched on earlier in the video is that Siakam's going to have pretty much all of the leverage this offseason, right? I mean, he knows what the Indiana Pacers gave up to get him, meaning he's going to be paid probably a max contract. So feels like everybody's on a max contract this time of year. So I don't know, man. I'm just giving you my thoughts. I don't think the Pascal Siakam trade was for this year alone. I don't think many people, this isn't one of those rentals that you go get at the deadline. You maybe give up a future first-round pick, and you're like, okay, he's going to get a serious payday this offseason, but from somewhere else, not from us. So, again, just my take on the situation. I think he's going to re-sign Indiana. I don't really think the Pacers would have made the deal without some sort of assurance, but things change. You never know. I mean, you look at the history of guys that have been with franchises for 1 year. Outside of Kawhi Leonard, I don't really think any of them have had a championship level impact for one season anyways. So we'll see. Going to be fun. The Pacers are already a super fun team to watch. I really hope my Celtics don't face them in the playoffs because, they are a big pain in the ass. I can definitely say that. So good for you, man. I'm happy to see winning basketball back in Indiana. This one is pretty much over, and I will see you guys at the Finals MVP. We finally get that championship. After 2 disappointing first seasons, Tyrese Halliburton won a regular season MVP. We won 71 games, and now he wins a Finals MVP. What a way to cap it off. So, of course, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know all your thoughts on the Pascal Siakam trade down below in the comment section. I'm really interested to kind of see what you guys think. If I have any Pacers fans or Raptors fans that watch me, kind of let me know about what you think about the move that your team's just made, because clearly it's a big one. This isn't some sort of small trade. Pascal Siakam is a very good player. So very excited to see all your thoughts down below. Of course, I will be doing the Toronto Raptors side of this probably on Monday. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do because Bruce Brown is probably not a guy that's going to be sticking around a long time, and maybe they keep him until the offseason. He does have a $23 million team option. So, it's going to be interesting nonetheless. This is a fun trade. I love trade season. You guys all know that. And that February 8th deadline is slowly approaching. So hopefully we get some more blockbusters because I love them. I really do. That's it for me, man. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.